Hello viewers, this is Zenithia. Welcome back to my playthrough of Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, for the Nintendo DS. Previously, we completed Talon Tower, and we restored the Zenith Dragon to his normal form. He has given us the Zenithian Tintinnabulum. We can use that to call him on the field, so that he can fly us just about anywhere. Now the Zenith Dragon he is our amigo, we have the strength of 100 burrows. I still can't believe it. I don't know what to say. Dr. Agon was the Zenith Dragon all along, and we had no idea. I bet the Zenith Dragon doesn't think anything about being high up. I mean, he flies right up above the clouds, doesn't he? Yes, he does. Now, let's call him up. And look at that. We're flying around on a dragon. Pretty cool. Anyway, we'll land here at Mostroferrato. We haven't been here in a while. Let's see how Mr. Briscoletti is getting on. Ah, there he is. So you know your charge. I want a strict watch kept night and day. And if anything happens, don't hang about finishing your cappuccino before you report back to me, capiche? Well, he sounded a bit stern, didn't he? What do you reckon is going on here? He seemed a bit on edge, didn't he? Okay, you know the senor friend. See. He seems to be in a good mood, eh? Maybe you should ask him what is the matter. Really? This is the town where you and Mom got married? How exciting! Yes, it is. Ugh. I drank far too much last night. Hair of the dog's the only answer. Glug, 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 glug. Ugh, burp. How crude. Is that man drinking to make himself sick? Why would anyone want to do that? Beats me, kid. Ugh, he's disgusting. Let's get out of here, Dad. He's no right to eat hairs from the dog. You don't know where the dog has been. I don't think that's what he means, Sancho. Mr. Briscoletti's in here quite a bit these days, you know. I would thought he'd have a private stash. It's funny because he never used to show his face in the pub at all. Do you think coming here makes Mr. Briscoletti feel better? You know, your Uncle Sancho has spent a lot of time in the pub too, when Senor Pancras, he came home. Oh, sorry, Sancho. I feel sort of grown up when I come into a pub like this. I hate the daytime. There's no atmosphere during the day. I wonder why there's no atmosphere in the daytime. That's weird. Pubs always have a bit of a nasty smell to them. Is it the stuff people are drinking? Yep, someone can't write. No one in the inn, except the innkeeper. Welcome to Mostroferrato, ancient stronghold of the Briscoletti family. Good to be back. Mostroferrato. I'll have to remember that. You do that, kid. It's a very attractive town, you know, think. See, Gotha should look like this. We never came here with Sancho when we were looking for you, Dad. Oh, I wonder why not. I think Briscoletti would have been charmed to help out. You'll never guess what I found. There's a funny pot in a shrine to the west of Stock and Barrel that's glowing an eerie red color. When I told Mr. Briscoletti about it, he turned as white as a sheet and said something like, "For the love of linguine!" I hope I haven't said something I shouldn't have. Oops. Is there nothing we can do to help out, Dad? It would be a bit weird seeing a jar glowing red all by itself like that. This is red, this is white, this conversation is chopping this way and that more than the barber shop. Anda, is no time for the laughing, eh? No, I guess not. What's going on in here now? Did you know my husband was such a strong man? I had no idea. I've fallen in love with him all over again. Oh, how's that? No one knows a man better than his wife. These two, they must be very happy together. Stop lazing about and put some tea on, you old waster. Oh, you're not my wife. I do apologize. I see the roles are a bit reversed now. You've got to treat them mean to keep them keen, you know. Ha 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 ha. Don't teach my kids that. Ha! That's so cool. You'd better not treat your girlfriend like that. People like that are mean. You won't start acting like that, will you, Dad? Heavens, no. Wow, what a lovely big church. I bet Mum looked beautiful when she got married here. Oh, she was amazing. Two people from different upbringings, joining as man and wife, setting off on a new journey together as a family. When I think about it, marriage is another example of the many wonders the goddess has bestowed upon us all. Marriage? That's still a long, long, long way off for me. Yes, a long, long way off. Well, well, young Madason, how are you? Doing well, and you, ma'am? It seems like yesterday that you were getting married, you know. Good goddess! Surely I'm looking at your offspring, aren't I? You can't mistake those eyes. This old senora, she was there at your wedding, friend. Absolutely. I wish I had been there too. I am so jealous. Maybe Bianca and I will renew our vows. Don't I look more like Mum? Oh, that's a shame. Haha, do you really think we look alike? I hope so. Is that you, Madason? You look even tougher than I remember. And you're a father now. Well done, my boy. Yes, congratulations, congratulations. You know so many people, Dad. Yes, I do, don't I? I wonder where Crispin is. My old competitor for Nera's hand. no, surely not. It's Madason, isn't it? Yes, it is. That's one face I could never forget, no matter how many years go by. So, have you seen Mr. Briscoletti already? He's been acting really strangely recently, and he looks terrible, too. Yes, he did seem a bit worked up, didn't he? We'd better go and see if we can help out, Dad. That's what friends are for. Ah, you've been taught well. You'll know why he can no forget you, friend. It's because you are a good and honest man. Really? This is the town where you and Mum got married? How exciting! Yes, Heorot has obviously learned well from Sancho. Well, who's that I see? It can't be, can it? It is you, Madason. It feels like years and years since I last saw you. How are you doing, Crispin? We're always talking about you, though. You made a big impression back then. Oh yes, I should introduce you, shouldn't I? This is my wife, Nera. Well, congratulations. It's wonderful to see you again after all this time, Madason. How are you? It's really thanks to you that Crispin and I fell in love in the first place, you know. We're so happy together. Well, that's good to hear. Everything's just perfect. Except Nera's father, Mr. Briscoletti. He seems a bit off just recently. Oh, I noticed. He's always on edge. He never seems to be able to relax anymore. Would you mind talking to him? I'm sure he'd open up to you. He always really liked you. Yes, would you mind? As a favor to us. Perhaps you could find out what it is that's bothering him, and maybe help him get over it. Sounds like a plan. So she's Nera. She's really pretty, isn't she? They sound like they really need our help, Dad. Yes, would you mind, as a favor to us? Perhaps you could find out what it is that's bothering him, and maybe help him get over it. Would you mind talking to him? I'm sure he'd open up to you. He's always really liked you. Well, we'll do that. Off to the Briscoletti mansion. Is that you, old Bingo? You're still alive? Nice to see you again. I really like dogs. They never lie to you, for one thing. Dogs are really cool. Can I have a dog when we get back home to Gotha? Please, Dad. It's a very attractive town, you know, think? See, Gotha should look like this. Well, if they ever build outside the castle walls, we'll consider it. Welcome to the Briscoletti residence. What a huge house! It's almost like a castle. Madason, you've come back to visit us. How wonderful it is to see you. Hello, Romana. The goddess has been watching over us all. But there is one thing you could help me with, Madason. Ah, what is it? My husband has been behaving very oddly ever since he spoke to a traveling merchant who came to town a few days ago. But he just won't tell me what's bothering him. I'm starting to worry about him. We're going to help these people out, right, Dad? Count me in. Anda, if he's something the senor, he can no tell to his wife. Maybe he's a very big problem, no? We'll see just how big. Ah, there's Debora. Well, well, Madason, isn't it? Pardon? You thought I'd be married by now, because Nera's been a fool and accepted that flake of a man? You sure tell it like it is. A husband would just get under my feet, like you are at the moment, really. Do you mind? Is that woman your friend, Dad? I think she's probably the strangest one I've met so far. Dad, that lady's a bit scary. Yeah, don't worry about her. And there's the man himself. Holy rigatoni! Madason, you old scaramouche! When did you get back? Just now. Never mind. There'll be plenty of time for all that baloney later. Right now, I need you to do me a favor. I can rely on you, I presume? Of course. There's a small island to the west of Stock and Barrel. That's the village just north of here, Are you listening? So anyway, on that small island to the west of Stock and Barrel, there's an equally small shrine. Inside the shrine is an old jar, that's all. Just that one small jar. I need you to go there and give me a bulletin on what color the jar is. I realize the request might sound a little cavalier, but it's really very important. And if the jar is red, don't waste any time getting back here, capiche? You must hurry. I just hope this has all been some terrible misunderstanding. It's no joke to ask such a thing of someone else. I believe the Signor Briscoletti, he is too scared to see it for himself, no? Yes, maybe. If he's that worried about it, why doesn't he go and see for himself? So all we have to do is find out what color the jar is. That'll be dead easy. Yes, that will be the easy part. What is it now? Do you want something or not? Maybe. You've finally come to realize that you should have picked me when you had the chance, I suppose. Well, that's not it, Deb. Well, it's too late. Unless you can just flick a switch and replay the adventures of your life, no doubt you once confessed your love for me in a church. That's not true, is it, Dad? You're glad you chose Mum, right? Yes, I am. If you don't want anything, then don't bother me with your whiny voice. Well, aren't you just a sweet lady? Oh, hello, maid. Please, Madason, sir. I couldn't help overhearing Mr. Briscoletti talking to himself before. He said something about a jar, and that if it was glowing red, some monster or other would come back to life. He was standing by the bookshelf in the living room. It sounded like he was reading some old diary or the like. Oh, some old diary, eh? I'm worried he's in trouble, you see. You'll help him though, won't you, Madason? I'll do my best. I wonder what sort of monster it is. It must be pretty nasty if Mr. Briscoletti to be so wound up about it. You'll no wanna know more about this old diary? I do, in fact. Maybe it's wrong to read it before you ask permission, but it's no the time for manners now. So let's check out the bookshelves. You are reading my diary, the diary of Rodrigo Briscoletti. What I write here is of utmost importance. It must never be lost. Just a short time ago, I succeeded in sealing away a giant beast in a jar. A beast so gigantic, his head pierced the clouds and scratched the heavens. Must be a pretty big beast. Left unchecked, he would have destroyed not only our village, but the entire world. That cannot be good. But the seal will not last forever. Perhaps 100 years, 150 at best. When the jar loses its sacred powers, it will begin to glow red, and when it does, the beast will be free once more. To my as yet unborn grandchildren and grandchildren's grandchildren, good luck. I have decided to make a bambino with my wife, so that I can pass on this warning to the world that follows me. And to those of my heirs unlucky enough to be born 150 years after myself, I pray for you. R. Briscoletti. Madason returns the diary to the bookshelf. I no comprende everything, but I understand enough. Come, we must go. A monster so big that his head reached the clouds? Do you think that's really possible? Well, we'll see, shan't we? It must be an enormous jar if it's got a monster that big inside. Well, let's go check on that jar, shall we? Actually, if you chose one of Briscoletti's daughters, you would have had to go there to check on that jar before you could leave on the ship. Now let's check LaGuardia. Yep, we're back at LaGuardia. The tower, not the airport. Why do you think some people are so scared of heights? I don't get it. Heights don't bother me at all. Whatever could it be that Mr. Briscoletti is so afraid of, I wonder? That is a good question, isn't it? Okay. Now let's head up to that shrine. The pothold. And we'll land right here. Here's the pothold. Yep, the pothold, with a capital V. This must be the place Mr. Briscoletti was talking about. The air here is really heavy. It's almost painful to walk in it. So, let's go down inside. I feel all nervous for some reason. We should hurry, Dad. Uh-oh. It looks red. Very red. There's a jar glowing rather eerily red. Heorot examines it. It's a very unsettling experience. I can imagine.
Galleons of garbanzos! The jar is red! He's very, very red! Like the cape of the matador! We must hurry now!
Yikes! Did you hear that voice? We should get back to Mr. Briscoletti's place fast, Dad. Why, Dad, it looks like something's trying to get out. Yes, let's head back to Mr. Briscoletti. Let's just use the Hermes hat, since Mostroferrato was the last town we were in. Hello, soldier. Madason, have you seen Mr. Briscoletti? He's been waiting for you at La Guardia. La Guardia, that's the lookout tower, isn't it? Can we all go together? It's a very attractive town, you know, think. It's night already, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yep, Briscoletti's waiting at La Guardia. I can hear lots of people having fun. Maybe they're in the pub? Now let's hand out an elfin elixir to Madason. We'll give Heorot one. One for you, Lena. And I'm going to be using Curtis. And we'll also hand out some Yggdrasil leaves. One for you, Curtis. Have two. One for you, Lena. You have one, Heorot. And you do too, Madason. Alright. What are you doing out and about at this time of night? If I mistake you for a monster and slash you down, don't come complaining. You won't have a leg to stand on. Ha ha ha! Funny. See, it's true. In the night, the monsters, they come out to play. Maybe it's a good time for a siesta, no? That's really scary. Can we hurry up and find an inn now, please, Dad? Huh. I suppose he thinks he's funny, does he? He'll have to work on his humor a bit more. Now, in the next episode, we'll head over to the guard tower and see what it is that the Briscolettis are just so afraid of. This is Heorot Linnea. I would like to thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time.